What's going on, everybody? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Sams. I am here in the building with some great people to break down and talk about comic book stuff. We got Starro the Conqueror. I'm gonna leave it at that. What's going on? We got I Am Legend in the building. So, as you can tell, we are here to talk about one thing: the movie that dropped this weekend. Which was the Suicide Squad, not to be confused with Suicide Squad, the David Ayers version of it back in
2019, maybe 2018, 18 or 19. It was before the pandemic, so
yeah, it was way before the pandemic. So let's say 18 maybe.
Yeah,
but 16. I looked it up.
16.
Yep.
Yeah,
really?
I had a feeling.
I think. Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah. So 2016, the Suicide Squad, David Ayer. That was all part of the Snyder DC universe. It did what it did. We'll talk about that a little later on. But James Gunn came in. Just a little backstory for those who may not know how that happened. So James Gunn was slated to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But because of the fact that some uneasy tweets came out, I'm going to bring in Deceptively Awesome. Good to see you, bro.
Yeah, good to see you too, bro. What's going on, fellas?
Yo.
So let me just get this out the way, and then we can talk about the movie. So James Gunn was he was taken off of any projects with Disney due to some old tweets that came up that was resurfaced, and it was a big deal. A lot of his cast members from Guardians of the Galaxy protested in getting him back. Well, while Disney was doing this, corporate, answering and corporate waiting until things kind of died on, Warner Brothers came in with the swoop and said, "Hey, can you do this for us?" He was like, "Well, I'm not doing anything else, so why not?" And that's why we got a Suicide Squad by James Gunn. So now the movie is out. We had a chance to watch it. We had a chance to dissect it to an extent. Let me kick this off. I would like to kick this off.
Yeah.
So
Please do.
So I actually was pretty excited for the film when I first saw it. Number one is James Gunn. James Gunn brought some incredible work. So I said, okay, James Gunn with DC property, that could be interesting because DC has a well of property that they don't even know they have. They just keep going to the same people. So of course, James Gunn will be the right person to surface up these awesome characters, just like how he did with Guardians, right? So watching this movie, I would say that I enjoyed about 70% of the movie. The 30% that I did not enjoy was DC's hand in pushing certain people that I feel as though they're not a draw. So we're gonna say this off the bat. This is spoiler heavy, all right. Hopefully y'all saw the movie. This is spoiler heavy.
I was
gonna say save the ending because I was just watching it now. So
this guy.
I know,
spoiler heavy. I'm not saving the ending because you didn't watch it.
Nah, come on, man.
Any other time I would say okay, but for this movie, the ending was probably one of the highlights of the film, and and that's hard to do. There's not a lot of movies that could pull off an ending, and they did it.
So let's talk up to that point, and then at that point I'll hop off and finish the movie. And then
you know what it was? Travis out here on the beach.
Yeah.
Drinking some cool drinks, living his best life. Listen, listen, man. Ain't nobody stopping you from living your life, bro. But we're not doing this here, man. Where were you? Hold on. Where were you when I Am Legend and Colors Everything was digging at me for not watching Black Widow on time? Where were you during that? You wasn't there to save me. You wasn't there to save me. So no, I'm not saving you. I'm not saving you. I'm not saving you. I'm not. So let me finish. Let me finish. So the 30% I did not like was Margot Robbie. And the reason why is that Margot Robbie is still, she's remnants of a deleted, in a sense, timeline, of a timeline that failed. And she's remnants of that. I thought what they did in the beginning of the movie, they literally wiped out everybody that was from the old Suicide Squad with the exception of her. And I get it. She's Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is popular to the girls or to the guys too. She's a popular character. I get that. But there was every time she was on scene, it was like Wonder Woman. Every time Wonder Woman appeared on scene, you got that stupid music playing in the background. Every time she's on scene, the movie is going this way. And then when Harley Quinn comes on scene, the movie goes that way. And I'm like, yo, I want to focus on the squad. I don't care about your side stories. You had your whole movie to tell your side story. Why are we still telling so much of your side story when we have a whole group of characters that I would like to know more about? And that took me out the movie every single time. No lie. Every time she came on, I dozed off. I went to sleep. Because it was like, yo, I'm not interested in Harley Quinn's story. I went back to watch it again, and I was like, okay, I still don't understand why we're doing this. So that's the 30% I didn't like about this movie. But the 70%, I thought the movie was solid.
Okay, I guess I'll go next.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit more. I love the movie. The beginning, I think it was one of the best opening scenes that I ever seen in any type of DC movie, of course, but any type of comic book movie altogether. It was a little slow in the middle. I think the scene that you mentioned with the Harley Quinn kind of side story, whatever, how they kind of took her out. I mean, it was a meaning to it. Like, it made sense in the script and the writing and everything, but it kind of slowed down too much, and they're trying to explain the whole backstory of Starro, and they had all these generals and the president, and I'm over here like, all right, get back to the squad. Because what James Gunn did so well was I guess 5 of them, the main 5 Suicide Squad, he focused so much on them, and it was like anytime they was on screen, it was perfect. Like, I loved every minute of them. I love their interactions. I love how they talk to each other, how they dig on each other. All the action scenes with them is fine, but it's just that middle of the movie, it's like a good 20-25 minutes of that portion I didn't like at all. But when they entered Harley into the Suicide Squad with all of them, I thought every time she was on screen, she killed it. Like, she knocked it out. I think they didn't use a lot of her at those moments. It's more or less. And like I said, the ending of the film is like, that's how you should end the film. Like, that's how you do it. You bring everything together, something that makes sense, a story that makes sense, and just end it and finito. So yeah, enjoyed it.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow up with that, man. Yo, honestly,
wait, what part are you at actually?
Yeah,
I'm at the part actually where he's like the trailer where he comes out the car and he's like the angry squeezing on everybody. That part, I guess that's the part they're going there at Jotunheim now.
They going to where?
Jotunheim, like the first step.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, so you're like in the middle, like the beginning of the third act. I think you're almost
yeah.
Okay.
All I gotta say is, so far my take on the movie is, number one, John Cena is killing it. Yo, he is absolutely slaying it. Yeah, him and Idris Alba, that whole scene when they step onto the scene, they're kind of going back and forth like with their kills. I'm like, yeah, this is a thing. Yo.
It was like seeing it was like someone said that it's like watching 2 Deadpools. Like it like going back and forth. It was really good. It was really good.
No, definitely, man. And I love it. And I think the one thing is, like, definitely it's clearly a James Gunn movie. Clearly James Gunn movie. I'm not gonna say it's Marvel and it might be Marvel in some kind of tone maybe, but obviously Marvel doesn't do those kind of those kills and nothing like that. But I mean, what I really mean is the fun aspect. You can see like this movie is fun compared to any of the DC movies we have so far. even with the opening scene, I'm like, how is James Gunn going to make a movie with all these characters? I want to know all these characters. I want to know the guy who's throwing the ball when he first opened up. I want to know the guy with the javelin, the guy with the detachable arms. Like I'm like, they're all speakers, but I'm like, I want to know more about these characters, and literally he shows them all up, you know. And I thought that was like absolutely great. Like, it really made it like, okay, it really showed that Waller is not the free player. You know what I mean? Like the last movie, I didn't really get that feel for her. You know what I'm saying? Like they had one scene in the last Suicide Squad where she walked in the room and started shooting everybody. I thought that was kind of forced in a way, but this one makes you see that she's kind of calculated. You know what I mean? As she set that team up, she just be wiped out. And whoever made it, but she sent them to be a distraction while the real team is taking care of what she needs to get done. And I just love that aspect of it, man. And so far, I'm like, man, this movie is just, it's absolutely, this is what, I can't say it's a DC to do like, but this is like, it's flavor, man. Like, especially like, this is art style too, like, how he put words in, like, on the beat, you know what I'm saying? Or
he's
like,
using like the elements to tell the scene, like the next scene,
exactly.
Or what time present it is. Yeah.
Exactly, and I got that Guardians of the Galaxy feel. You know what I'm saying? Like in Infinity War, Infinity War when you see space and before you see space through the lens and you need Guardians. That's how I feel like his style is like telling a story within a story. You know, but not making it too complex and using the environment, cinematography to tell the story more and just like, man, he's feeling this movie is awesome for fun, man. And to your point, Corey, the Harley Quinn, I felt like in certain scenes they were kind of trying to get rid of the old in a way. Like, they didn't make her all about the Joker, which he kind of, they butchered that whole relationship. So they were kind of like scaring that, I think. Also, Rick Flag was the other one, too, from the original Suicide Squad movie. They kept him in there, and I thought, like, okay, I thought they were going to just be bold and kill everybody off. You know what I mean? And start a whole brand new, like, try to erase that Suicide Squad altogether. But I was like, he's still trying to keep some elements. There's no mention of their team together. However, when you see Rick Flag and Harley Quinn interact, you see that they have a relationship based upon the old movie. So I think James did a smart decision and not necessarily emphasizing on the old movie, but not completely just erasing it, you know? Still have some kind of elements there. But gotcha. So far, man, I'm loving it.
All right, cool. Starro.
All right. I would say that my favorite, what I really enjoyed the Suicide Squad and what I disliked. What I really liked about this movie is that it took a different turn. It did something new with this movie. Like, they changed the plot and the storyline of the film. Like, they did something new that I'd never seen before. They brought in like old characters and new characters to make this movie better. And I really enjoyed it that they picked a different villain than the first movie, because the first movie was just all about a team of villains fighting some gang members and stuff. And in this one, it's Starro, and I love that. I love that they bring in like these old characters and these new characters, and that they're just like comparing them, and one of them just decides to turn on each other, and I love it. I just love it. The one I disliked is all the bathroom scenes that Elba had to in the first part of the movie. I was just barfing everywhere when I saw that. I was like, why? Why do you have to gross me out in this scene? So I eventually just paused at the wrong moment when back. So, but the rest of the movie was really good, and I really enjoyed it. Especially that post-credit scene. That surprised me. Don't
say anything about that yet.
I'm about to say.
Not yet. Let's stretch it out a little bit. All right, so we're all in the consensus that this movie is pretty good for a DC movie. You know, like I mentioned before, my standards when it comes to DC films are very low. So I'm not looking for anything. So anything that they do to change the game, to switch it up, I'm all here for. So when it comes to this movie, let's talk about the first scene, like the opening scene. Now, them arriving on the beach, and this massacre takes place. Now, I was laughing hysterically at everything that was taking place. When Captain Boomerang got demolished, I was like, "Thank you, let's go!" Like, great. We don't got to see this character in any more movies. We don't got to see his character in Flash. Like, you're literally saying, "Yo, this was before." Oh wait, you know what? I'm gonna stop right here because I see somebody right now that just rolled up. So we gotta give him some room. Look at him. Look at him. He's chopping at the bit to get it in. Look at him. Look at him. Chomping at the bit. What's up, new daddy?
Hey, Colors. Corey said he hated it.
Yeah, I know. I saw his review.
You didn't even listen. You didn't even listen.
No, he tried to word it the other way. He tried to word it like I thought it was okay, but we know he meant he hated it.
Yeah.
Listen, what did I listen? I said you got to go in the beginning of this stream, man. I said I enjoyed 70% of the movie.
Wow, you 70%. Get that one line 30%? That's a lot. For that one.
No. Oh. See, that's why you gotta be. That's why you gotta be here on time so you can know what I'm talking about. 30. I didn't. Now, listen, I didn't even mention that line yet. So the 30% that I mentioned, I didn't like the way the story would in my opinion, sidetrack whenever Harley Quinn had her own thing going on. I feel as though they had a movie for her. Like, why we need? I didn't need to see all that. I wanted to focus on the squad and see what they were doing.
I'm so glad
they were going through.
Man, you helped me understand what bitter is. I sometimes forget what bitter sounds like, but every time I speak to you about the movie, there you are reminding me.
Well, you're here now, so tell us how much you love the movie.
Wow, already with the political.
all right. Sorry. You're here now. Tell us what you thought of the Suicide Squad.
I thought the Suicide Squad was just a good movie. Like, taken for what it is, it was a good movie. I went in, like many of us here, didn't have high expectations. They were slightly elevated for James Gunn. So the expectations, if you put them on a scale of 1 to 10, right? When I go into DC movies now, they generally start at 2. James Gunn elevated my expectations to a 4 because I'm like, hey man, you've done some good stuff. I walked out of that movie feeling around the 7 or 8. I mean, I got what I wanted, right? And in the Suicide Squad, with suicide in the title, I got that from the start. Like, just, okay. So you don't know who's going to die. And a twist in that movie, there was a character that died that I was like, oh, y'all went there? He's like, there's no way of bringing that one back. Like,
we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it.
Don't spoil too much. Don't spoil too much, because I'm at the beginning of the third act, so.
Yeah, we got to get him out of here, yo. You getting spoiled tonight, Trav.
I'm gonna get out of here in a little bit. I'm make my exit, you know what I mean?
You getting spoiled tonight.
Continue.
What they wanted. I got what I wanted from the characters. I got a story that made as much sense as a comic book movie story should. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're dealing with the world of comic book here, right? We talk about things where they make up words for powers and such like that. And so out of the story that I was looking for, I thought it was recent. And having to try to bounce back, I mean, James Gunn has a tall order. Suicide 1. That's how I feel about it. And so he had to go from that to Suicide 2.
He's already in the hole.
He did with the story, with the characters that are there, particularly Amanda Waller. I was incredibly impressed with how they wrapped that around, because if you're familiar with her comic book origins or from any other property, she's no hold bars, and they did not pull back from that. So again, I walked out of that movie. I was getting watching at 3 a.m. So y'all know that I was, I had a small child in my arms. So it could have been small delirium, but I found myself laughing, even sometimes being a little queasy. I was like, y'all went there. Cool. Like, honestly, my favorite part of that whole entire movie was the scene in the jungle where they
Like, because that's exactly what we at right now. We're talking about the beginning of the film. That opening scene. That opening scene set the tone. And that's what you need from these movies. You need to excuse me, you need your tone to be set. So you can know, all right, the expectations, the brutality. Like when I watched Mortal Kombat, that opening scene, all right, when Sub-Zero and Scorpion was going at it and that whole fight scene, I was like, yeah, this was my expectation. And then little by little, it started to go down. But you know, that's neither here or there. But that's the expectation. And with a director like James Gunn, who knows his comics, he is a comic book nerd. I'm looking for him to bring the best out of the characters, and I feel as though he did that. However, DC has a problem when it comes to putting their hands in the property where they don't need to put their hands in the property. And you can see that when it comes to certain characters. Now, I enjoyed the fact that a lot of the original characters got wiped out, with the exception of 2. Amanda Waller had to be there. Like you can't replace her role. To me, she's becoming that character that's like a J. Jonah Jameson. You can't replace her. She has found that character and she has made that character stick. When it comes to Harley Quinn, now you can't do the same with Harley Quinn. You can't replace her. Margot Robbie is that character, but I don't need to see that character's origin or storytelling anymore. I feel as though they peaked when it came to her movie, and this movie was about establishing this new Suicide Squad. That's my opinion.
I think
I'm not gonna say about all that. Keeping it real, Birds of Prey was sad. First Suicide Squad, we saw it was garbage. So they didn't really keep her, the character, but I agree in the sense of, I mean, you guys butchered her. I don't want to see anything more about her and Joker. Like, I really don't. Like, you guys had the opportunity, you know, but they didn't. They never had a good Joker anyway. So it's like, you're going to need to either reboot her character, reboot that story, so you can kind of see it's done well, or something else. But that's just how I feel. What are you going to say, man?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we, because you don't like the Harley Quinn in this film. Like, I didn't like Harley Quinn in this film just for that, for her side quest. Because, like I said, it was just kind of boring to me. But her acting, her role in it, it all made sense. Like, you know, she got captured, whatever. I understood all that. It was never a problem with her like sharing new information about who she is and where she come from. See, I don't think she gave anything away. I think, if anything, if you didn't watch Birds of Prey, this kind of brought you up to like, hey, she's really don't like the Joker now. That's all you need to know. Yeah. Like, I don't care. I think they did that well. It's just like all the other stuff that was in between.
I'm gonna need y'all to
listen to the song. They don't even have a Joker to establish a relationship.
I'm gonna need y'all to listen to the song by Music Soul Child, Previous Cats, because y'all all sound wounded. Wounded.
No.
Like this movie, if you look at this movie, I did not see Birds of Prey on purpose. I feel sorry for all of you that chose to watch it because I know. But with that being said, I look at this and her story was perfectly Harley Quinn. Again, understanding her character from the comic origins, it was right up her alley. Like I expect nothing less from somebody who is equal parts genius and psycho. Like she's brilliant. Like if you know her origin, like she's not stupid. She's also not right in the head. So all that happened, as you guys consider it a side quest. Like to me, in a good RPG, I was like, oh, that's cool. I mean, I got some loot from it, right? Like I was able to get some rare armor. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that. I love that side quest. I like it, but what I am agreeing that they don't need to can't do anything else with her. You know what I mean? They force her. But I did like her side quest. I did like seeing those moments with her and stuff like that.
I mean, it didn't even last that long. Yeah, I mean, like how chomping at the bit off of action. She like legit got dunked in the car. That was about 30 seconds.
You know what it is? Colors like they did Act 1, and they focused on the squad of the five that we going in, and for her 4 or 5 minute scenes where she was going off with the president and stuff like that. The whole time they're explaining Starro, they just talk about the president and the general. It took away from the new five that we just met. And like I said, I was telling them earlier, like the new five that we just met, they were so awesome. I just wanted to be with them. I didn't really want to be anywhere else in the story. Like I said, I understood the story. I understood why I was there. I'm not mad at that part. I'm just saying it slowed down.
to your point, though, that's how you got story element. It wasn't even really about her. We got an understanding of why this island is doing what they're doing, and y'all be the same people that if they didn't do that, you'd be like, well, what's the point? Where does come on?
No, don't do that because you know why? You know why I wouldn't do that? Because it's a DC film. So I know. So again, my expectations coming into no DC film, I'm not looking for them to do all the things that normal films would do because they tend to do things for fan service or for that box office pop, like putting lines that have no relevance. That has no relevance to the story. But since we here, let me mention it. So Idris Elba's character,
right? Real smooth transition.
I try. So what's the name? Deathpool. What's the name?
Bloodsport.
You know his name.
Bloodsport.
So he's scraping the gum. He's scraping gum off of the ground and everything like that. Here's Amanda Waller behind him talking about something. Yeah, this man put Superman in the ICU.
Okay, hold that right there because we hear the question. So let me ask you this. In the comic book, has Superman not been hospitalized for gunshot wounds from a kryptonite bullet? Yes or no question. Has he or has he not been hospitalized for a gunshot wound from kryptonite bullet?
In the comic books, I would assume so, yeah. Okay,
right, let's stay there. To our knowledge, the current Superman, because I know you're going to go into this whole DCEU or DCU. Okay, so to our knowledge, in the DCU, when we last left Superman, he is alive, correct?
Are we going based off of? Yeah, he's alive.
Either way, whether it's cut or not,
he's alive and well. Yeah, okay. He's alive and well.
Do we know the timeline of this particular movie?
Based on the fact that this movie takes place after the original movie. Based on the fact that it takes place after the original movie, we can deduce that the time frame of this movie, the events that happen after, I want to say Shazam, is when this movie takes place, either during or after Shazam.
But after Shazam could be any time between after Shazam. So I will rest my case.
Superman was in character. He was in his costume and everything in Shazam. So that means he's still active as Superman. Even after the end of the original Justice League, he was still Superman.
So the point is, my point is, because this movie takes place after Shazam and after potentially Justice League, right? Potentially it could be after that as well, right? Because, let's say it that way. Then it is possible that the line in question, which has you all up in arms, could have taken place after, right, or in between this blank space between whatever his last movie was and where we get this character. Is that not possible?
That is possible. But let me ask you this. Superman dies and the whole world is mourning this man's death. So therefore, they put him on a platform that he is a god amongst them. If a person was to put that god in the ICU, which then tears down that demeanor that he is a god and that he's just a normal person, and they put him in the ICU. Can I finish my point?
No, but there's the bitterness because you try to make your point is skewing the audience, and I got to bring it back because you're very clever with that, right? You're very clever.
How am I doing?
Is it possible? Is it possible that that event right between Bloodsport and Superman could have not been televised, could have not been made public because you have this agency like Amanda Waller who could have made sure to ensure that perception, that godlike perception that you're talking about, remains intact while, right, handling this issue. Also, consider Batman could have been involved.
Again, if she's mentioning the fact that he is in the ICU casually to her staff, that means that has to be public knowledge.
It's a black ops organization, Sam. It's a black ops organization. She could honestly say the president is a clone of a clone, right, in that organization, and it wouldn't have mattered because it's the black ops. They always gonna die. Right?
But again, this is Superman you're talking about.
Corey,
this is Superman you're talking. Yeah,
Corey, I don't know why you're so upset. Superman don't even have 2 movies.
You're right.
Suicide Squad got 2 movies.
You're right.
So you gotta put respect on their name.
You're right. Like I mentioned, I don't know why I'm tripping off of that line. I don't know why I brought it back up because DC don't care about Superman. So why should I care about the fact that a man is scraping gum off of the prison floor is the same guy that put him in the ICU? Why should I care?
Batman is the same guy that fought him to a standstill. Let's consider.
No, he fought him to Martha. Let's not even go there. Let's not even go there. Let's not even go there.
To your point, I'm all making the comparison. They've already established that men can harm Superman. They've already established that.
So you're saying that this man is on the same level as Batman?
Did you see his gun excellence in this movie?
I'm just asking. Is he the
He
same
shot a
level
bullet
as
through
Batman?
a bullet, son. A bullet through a bullet.
Well, that was foreshadowing, and they did a good job with that. Well, that's all James Gunn, and that's his storytelling. But I get that. Yes, he did shoot a bullet through a bullet. Oh wait, he did.
Sorry, my bad.
But that part is pretty dope. That part is pretty dope. But I didn't tell you who was shooting what.
But
So,
you got to be some key points though, even with that whole thing, because when the first Suicide Squad happened, Superman was already dead. So this movie had to have taken place directly after. You know what I mean? So like I said, it had to take place. I don't think it could have taken place during Shazam or nothing like that. You know what I mean? It had to take place after. You know what I mean? Unless
well, we don't even know why he's in jail. Is he in jail for that reason? Because if he's in jail for that reason, then it could just been. She said he's locked up because he put Superman in the ICU. Okay, so that's the reason why. So
that's the reason why he's locked up in a public population
jail. Guys, nope, he's still in Belle Reve. Don't do that. Don't try to twist. He's in a different spot than the other guys because he's just a man without his weapon, but he's still in Belle Reve and he's still locked up. And
he's cleaning tables. He's cleaning tables.
Listen, all in all,
he can do it with no guns.
All in all, I know exactly what happened. James Gunn came into the Warner Brothers and said, "Listen, I got the movie for you guys. Here it is." And he said, "James, you love the script, but he just do us one favor. He added this one line."
That's exactly what they did.
And that's exactly how that line ended. So let's not cut the injustice slack. We had to do what we had to do.
Real talk. That if the line was never in the movie, I don't think that would even take away from his character. And it doesn't. It doesn't take away from his character because he knows how to act and he brought that character to life. But the line was just it just for me, it just opened up too many. I'm like, okay, how did you do this? Why is Superman in ICU? When did this happen? You know, it's hard for me. It's hard to separate. It's hard to separate. Take a movie as a standalone because this is where DC seems to be going. That each movie is a standalone. It's not part of a continual story. It's not part of continuity. It's its own entity. That's fine.
What if this is there because they have multiple Earths, right? This could be, this character, Bloodsport, could be in a different Earth entirely. Then they have a Crisis of Earths movie, and you realize that, you know what I'm saying, the Superman that wasn't the one that was shot. It was another Superman. I mean, the Flash does it all the time, right? Fair point.
And also too though, remember, Batman is the only one that knew Kryptonite was Superman's weakness. So therefore, and the only time he was introduced to Kryptonite was BVS, where he was also killed him. So this couldn't happen any time before. You know what I'm saying? And then Justice League is the only other time that we see Superman. So either way, it was a downline and does not fit the universe at all.
No, but Trap, actually, you actually bring up something that's possible. It is possible that because of BVS, right, that this does happen after Justice League, and it's because of BVS that Bloodsport is aware of that. Because think about it, right? Like, you already seen him die. You have people out there theoretically in this world like Lex Luthor who want him dead, and others. He's a mercenary. He easily could have been hired by someone else, easily could have been given a bullet, and all he has to do is make the shot. And I've been working it out in my mind, right? I've been working on my mind that it's possible if it's a kryptonite bullet, if it's shot well and fast enough, that the closer it gets to him, the weaker it makes him, particularly if it's pure kryptonite. So his ability to dodge would be impacted just because of the kryptonite.
I don't think anybody is questioning the ability of this character to be able to shoot Superman. I'm not questioning that at all. My question is, what's the point of putting that line in if you're not going to show what happened, or you're not going to, you're going to have to live up to that story at some point. if you bring Superman back, you're gonna have to make mention to that.
Corey, trust me on this one.
Oh, they're not
you're the only one that actually cared about that line that much. Trust me on this one. When everybody heard that line, they was like, "Oh, yo, this guy might be really good." That's it. Nobody was thinking about when did it happen, how did it happen, is Superman okay?
I did.
Well, your blood.
Your brothers. It makes sense.
I don't do that.
It tells me it's a blood issue. That's all.
It's biological.
Listen, Travis. Listen. People are ready to accept whatever DC is willing to do to try to get back in good faith. That's where we going.
Where are we going?
I'm not letting them off the hook.
Oh, this is
the crap that they've been pulling.
This is a hostile show.
Not at all. But let's be real. Let's be real. Like we all said going into this movie where our expectations are for DC films. So DC's going to drop a line like that. Your most powerful superhero is in the ICU by a character that's scraping gum off the floor. No, that to me just like it doesn't even
compute for them to establish that point to yours. To your point, right? There's still time for them to do that. But Marvel, so your prized possession, right? Like your number one child, you already paid for their tuition. Okay, Absolutely. They got everything they need. Does the exact same thing. They drop lines in one movie only for them to be really picked up on another. Who's to say this wasn't the first thread for them to do that?
But Marvel has a track history of doing that.
So
DC does not.
I'll go back to the song. Look at previous cats because you still hurt by your previous relationship. It's okay. Healing is possible, Sam.
Listen, you brand new today. So it's all good. Because when we first started this journey like a month or two ago, you was like, "Yeah, DC, yeah, I'm not even busy. I'm not even messing with them." You brand new today. You sound brand new.
My profession allows me to understand that people change and grow. I gotta be open to that. I gotta be open to that. I gotta.
And we gotta give credit to what credit's due. Like what Color's been saying. Like this was a good movie. Like and to take that little 1 point out of it to say like, yo, that's one of the reasons why it was bad. Like, come on, man.
But
come on, there gotta be something more.
But listen,
I can give you more reasons that was worse than that line.
No, but my argument. But remember, my argument before watching this movie was that stupid line, and if they don't pay it off, I'm gonna be pissed. Which I was. But
you went in biased. What I hear you saying, you already went in biased. Okay,
but you already knew they wasn't going to pay that off.
No, I went in the same as you. You came in low, right? The only reason why you gave it a 4 is because of James Gunn. If James Gunn was not the director, you would have came in too. You would have been right here with me, holding hands. We would have been strolling into this thing together.
See, but I have reasons.
I watched it. But like I said, I watched it, and like I said, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was great. However, that DC's hand and everything, it's DC has to learn to just keep their hands out of what the directors are trying to convey.
See, I thought with this one they actually didn't have their hand in the pot as big as the other ones. Like this one, it was like more hand off.
Maybe they're learning.
I mean, they showed breast and penises in this film. Like they showed headshots. They showed. Yeah, I don't think WB was like. They just gave it to James Gunn. Like, I'm gonna step back, see what you're gonna do.
Legend. I think they did learn from something though, that if you learn the nature of your properties and allow them to work within a certain world, like Suicide Squad should be your Deadpool-esque type movies.
Of course,
there's a lot. It's like Deadpool. Like the older I get, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I can't be seeing as much anymore, right? Because like I sleep well at night. There are times I was like, but it's a Suicide Squad movie. You should expect that. These are villains, right? If you take out the color prettiness of it, these are people who are in jail who do ridiculous and vile things. Mm-hmm. So you should, within reason, see that. Outside of a few characters in the show where you're like, I don't even know why you're really in jail. But like, you expect them to do the things that, as what their game comes out to mother say, like these are the things that the heroes can't do. So I expected that. And I think James Gunn realized and tried to pitch that, like, yo, you got to make this movie that. People will see that. Just like Deadpool is the same way. Like, don't give me Deadpool's not pretty. He's not. Yeah. Right? Like,
he's not supposed to be.
He's the guy that's honestly going to shoot the person after Captain America's like, don't shoot him. Like, I'm sorry. And he's like he's just going to say, I'm sorry.
When my man King Shark tore my man in part in two like that, the brutality level of this film top notch.
Yo, you have gone through. You should have gone through the first part of the whole jungle scene, right? You've gone through the whole jungle thing.
Yeah.
Or Travis, yeah.
That's exactly why. That's when they had me. When I went through that whole thing, and I was like, because the setup for that, even storytelling wise, I was like, oh yeah, this is damn like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Comedic twist. I was like,
Yep.
Yeah.
And the real squad is on the other side. I loved it.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about that. I thought when they go to save Rick, when they go to save what's my man? Rick Flag.
Oh,
when they was fighting the gorillas. And the gorillas
they
good guys.
they take out the entire place with prejudice, with absolute prejudice, only to be like,
I'm chilling.
And it's so funny when it goes like for a name like Peacemaker, like it's not about peace. He reminds me so much of from The Boys. What's his name?
Homelander.
But not as like Homelander was a topic, but he didn't care. Peacemaker legit cares about peace, but in his own mind, it's what peace means to him.
Yeah,
and I just kind of love that. I love how all these characters have a character. I'm not just watching the movie for one person like the last Suicide Squad. You only watch it for Harley Quinn. You only watch it to see Will Smith act as Will Smith. That's the only thing you watch the movie doing. You know what I'm saying? But with this one, I actually love the characters that I was watching. Even I hate rap too. I absolutely hate rap. But I love what they did with that whole character. Yeah.
Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm sorry for the audience. This is just a personal experience. I think it's a black thing that we don't like rats. Like honestly, because the fact that it was tied into Bloodsport's character, like that arc too, like that whole entire arc, I was like, yeah, that's me, right? I could be the deadliest man in the world, but put me around a rat, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
finish.
I'm not kidding.
I love that.
The comedy is perfect, man. It's not forced. That's what happened in
That's it. And it was not forced. It was not forced.
You know what I mean? And the team dynamic is more genuine than the last one too. If you want to do some comparisons, like the way they keep the last one is so sloppy and so rushed, and it's like they have all these relationships and friendships where none of that was actually really built on. But this movie, you can see why they're together, how they're together, without automatically hating each other. They all know they're here for a mission and stuff like that. And I don't think so far anyway, where I'm at in the movie, I don't think it's specified that she put a bomb into all of their necks. Because I haven't heard that line from her yet, or nothing like that. You know what I mean? And the new Suicide Squad team. But the old one, she kind of did to do it expendable. So I kind of like that. If that's the case, I kind of like that twist that they're kind of doing it for reasons outside of the bomb. So I don't recall her saying, like for Bloodsport, he's doing it because of his daughter. You know what I mean? And I think they all have different reasons. And Peacemaker, he seems like he's all about killing people. You know what I mean? So it doesn't seem like any of them have bombs in their neck. But the old team did because he was planning on getting rid of them anyway. So I kind of like that twist. So far, anyway, I haven't seen that in the movie. Whether he mentions that, but and I kind of like that. Like he's not using any piece that was used in the last one. He's making up his own. He's basically writing his own story, and I love it.
So Travis, we're gonna. I want to go to the ending of the movie.
Oh, but we can't because someone on a comic book show didn't watch the movie. All of it.
No, we can still. Yeah, we can still do it. Yeah, we can still do it.
Well, how you gonna bring it? I said I'm coming out.
Listen, man. Like I said, man, they roasted me, man, during the Black Widow, man. They didn't even care. They don't even care. So it's all good, man.
No. So yeah, man. I'm again. I guess my rating for this movie right now, anyway, I have to give it like a 9, in my opinion.
You said 9?
Yeah, 9. I still think that Man of Steel will forever be my favorite DC movie, just because I thought it was a great start for this franchise and a great direction, and then movie after movie, just dropping the ball, But this one is really making me have faith in I can't say DC or one, but I'm seeing it. I got into the debate with somebody, and I was like, watch DC is going to say they're going to make James Gunn the head of all these properties now. I'm like, here they go again, going dark side of the board.
They can't even do that because he back at Marvel. He back at Marvel, so they can't even do that.
What happened is the court saying that the Warner Brothers want James Gunn to direct all the movies. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take it with what it is. I like it. I enjoy it. I'm giving it a 9. That's it. Whatever happens forward, I don't care. It's irrelevant. But so far, man, I'm loving the movie. So,
All right, strong 9.
so
That's
y'all
what's
have your fun, man. Y'all spoil it, whatever. So,
up. All right, bro.
All right, man.
All right, my
all
man.
right, guys. Man.
All right.
Yeah, man.
All right, deceptively. Peace, bro.
All right, later.
I think what's
Trevor.
kind of bad about this is
Mhm.
since this was like a HBO Max release, it's like
Ooh,
not doing good in
yeah.
the movie theaters. It's a rated R film. So,
I was gonna bring that up. I
so
was gonna bring that up.
most likely there's gonna be a whole push like with the like Chaff was saying, like with the Zach thing, but like, yo, we want James Gunn back to do this. But WB's gonna like look at the numbers. I don't know.
I think they did 20. I think they said 25 or 26 million opening box office for this weekend. That's the second lowest that they've done. DC has done.
And you got to
Warner
think about it
Brothers
like
have done for a DC film.
it is a pandemic still.
Yeah,
but I think like, did anybody go to movies to see this? I think we all went to the HBO Max to watch it.
I got it on HBO. Like why am I doing that? Like, it's right there. Like, I'm just scrolling through. I'm like, oh, okay, there it is.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's the same argument that Scarlett Johansson has for Disney Plus, but then again, that movie did numbers at the box office,
and I think I know why. I think it's like what you're saying earlier with the track record. Like, they have a good track record that people that wants to go back to the movie theaters, they was like, yo, we're just gonna go to the movie theaters just once. We'll go watch it and then go watch it 10 times on Disney Plus.
Exactly.
And I think
that's go see it there. Yeah.
And I think
that's just what it
really
is.
the deep issue with that for me is just the, like, if it's true what she said, I'm not having no reason to believe that she lies. Just change her contract so she gets a piece of that cut. I think that's where movies are going to go now. Like, in general, our world is becoming very at home based. Like, you're going to have people that want to go to the movie, but you're also going to have others like, yo, Sam's, you and I got young kids. Like, do we have the time and space to run to a theater to see things? Can we make it? Yes, but then it may not be your opening box number weekend. Yeah. But you'll get my coins. Like, if I can get that streamed right off, you'll get my coins. I'll pay that.
Oh, yeah. No problem. Absolutely.
So I can do all I need to do right now. Anyone else?
That's exactly how I was watching it. I was watching it with him, and I was like, when I saw some gory stuff, I was like, all right, we're gonna turn you over. We're gonna turn you over. You don't need to watch this.
And it's one of those things, like I seen Infinity War probably like 4 times in the theater just for Infinity War, because I just wanted to see it again.
Yeah.
But now if I could buy it for $30, I could watch it as many times as I want.
Yo, binge.
Yeah.
And that's the real part of it. That is the real part of it that I think not just streaming services, but production companies need to consider. I'm not saying don't put your movies out in the theater, because some people are going to love it and need it's a good date night, while also recognizing the future of just our generation is streaming. So write it into my contract. Let me get my cut and let's keep it moving.
That's it. And I don't even understand why that wasn't even a renegotiation on people's contracts to begin with. Like, they didn't sign when they signed this up like 10 years ago. They weren't thinking like, all right, well, when my movie comes out, it's going to be in the middle of the pandemic. Nobody's thinking that way 10 years ago. So that could have been adjusted. But let's
give me
get
one
back to
second.
this. Yeah, no doubt. The ending. So Starro, since you're here and you were the main villain of this movie, what you think about that whole final act?
I think my favorite thing about that movie, about that scene, that one point of the scene, is like when Ratcatcher says, her dad is like talking about rats, saying that they're a good thing to have on you, like a good pet kind of thing to have on you. I was like, who is this guy and why are we talking about rats here? And when they brought up like saying like when it said something about rats and all that, I take off my glasses and like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. There's like 500,000 rats just coming in for some popcorn from Starro. And they're just all coming across this whole city. I'm like, what?
I loved it.
And it starts crawling up his leg and starts eating him. And I'm like, that's how they're going to end the movie? They're going to end them up with eating Starro? So I was really surprised, and also that betrayal with Peacemaker, that was a pretty good twist. Because I thought Peacemaker was like, because like I know John Cena is usually like he likes to play the bad guy kind of roles, and I've always just like he was in Transformers as Bumblebee for that Bumblebee film, but like most of the other movies he's done, he's been doing like villain roles, so I could see like
that's pretty true. That's true.
But and I absolutely loved that betrayal sequence and said, "You're gonna die." I says, "Please don't kill me," and then Idris Elba shows up, and I'm like, something's gonna go badass. So
I'm not gonna lie, when Idris Elba was falling from the ceilings, and then he landed, and that landing, I was like, that's a bad man right there. That's a bad man right there. Like that stance, I was like, oh, that was good.
He just looked at the situation, knew exactly what's going on. It's like, all right.
He needed no explanation. He don't need to talk.
My other favorite scenes, I would say, the Polka Dot Man's mom appearing every time.
Oh, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. I was dying.
Nah, I watched this at night. That scared me, yo. That scared the hell out of me, yo. The first time when they showed it was in the jungle and they showed his mom. I'm like, yo, what is this?
I loved it. He was like, yo, where your mom at? She everywhere. I'm like, yo, that's how you see the world. I was dying. I was like, yo, it's those little attention to detail that I truly enjoy.
And I watched it twice. I didn't know that that's what was going on in the club either. When there was like a bunch of moms in the club, I was like, wait, that's his mom. Like that. I didn't catch it the first time. The second time I caught it, I was like, oh, okay.
Yo, hands down, one of the best.
What?
No, I was saying. Sorry.
Right. I was just saying, y'all said everything. Like what I enjoyed about the editing is exactly those combination things. Yeah. I think the build-up was great. It was definitely a steady build to what was a very climactic ending, and I was good at the whole Peacemaker piece. You know, as I said before, I didn't think they would kill that character. I didn't. I like him. I think he's great for the show. I think his balance, and particularly now they allowed him to be more comedic, like allow that to be natural. Even his stuff with Harley Quinn, like I thought that was phenomenal. And then for them to kill him, I'm like, what? But it fit the story, right? If you're gonna tell a story, and it fit the story. It made all the sense, and it also allowed the build of Peacemaker to really be highlighted. You know, because I value peace so much that if this whole entire jungle was filled with my mother-in-law's here, yes, I can say. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, the character was, you give me an order, you tell me to maintain peace, I will complete that order to
however I gotta do it.
Extreme measures.
And for that, he said it, I'll kill women, children, doesn't matter, to maintain peace.
Well, I thought the story was great. Rat piece scared the crap out of me. That is my biggest fear. I do believe that there are millions of rats under us at all times, and so yep, that just highlighted all the things that are scary about life right there. And then the hard. I will say that's the one time, because y'all got a Harley Quinn. Let me be honest. Her piece in that ending was the one time where I was like, what is the point of this? Like, she did nothing. Like, right? Like, she's swimming in an eye with a bunch of rats.
Oh, she punctured the hole so the rats could get in.
Okay.
I didn't catch that till the second time I watched it, because the first time I was like, oh, she's going for a swim.
So
that makes sense, but I feel like that was forced, because I was like,
anybody could have
javelin, it would have been the same thing.
Anybody could have did that part. But the fact that they were all in his eye. So here's my thing. So Guardians 2, the opening scene, they're fighting this big squid character and this big giant monster. And I'm looking at it. I'm just looking at the visuals. I'm just like, my gosh, yo, James Gunn, he knows what he's doing. It's like he literally just pulled that right off the comic book and just put it right there. And then to see Starro and just seeing it, like seeing the little things coming out of his armpits, I'm just like, yo, this is. just give me an hour of this part of the movie, yo. I will enjoy it. He's just big. He's floppy. He's crashing into buildings. He's discombobulated. He has this big giant eye. It looks so real. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is good. This is so good. Yeah. And then the death of him with all those rats. I thought Ratcatcher, that was my favorite character. Like the story, the entire time. I loved it. And to know that Taika Waititi was her father.
Yes.
I was like, yo, I love this. I loved it. I loved her as a character. I love that entire ending. Everything about that ending is what I want to see in a comic book movie. Just absurdity. Just straight absurdity going on. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, and coming into this, like I was upset about the whole use of Starro. I was like, why are they fighting a starfish? Like this makes no sense.
Whoa. Are you not familiar with Starro's character? Because Starro has bodied the entire JL.
Like I said, coming in, I was like, I don't want them fighting no starfish, man. Like it'll make it look stupid. And like Corey's saying, like the way, because I seen King Shark first. I was like, King Shark didn't really look too great to me.
I Have Legend was getting at me for even saying that the first trailer was good.
Yeah, exactly.
I enjoyed first trailer. Every trailer to me, I was like, yeah, I'm ready for it.
I hated the trailer. I was coming this movie to hate on it, but but that third part was amazing. The use of Starro was amazing. Like everything about it, even his ending was amazing.
Yeah, if you're a fan of the cartoons, Justice League, I think it's the first season, there's a great one where it starts off with like Wonder Woman I think it's Wonder Woman. She's bringing Superman a gift for his birthday, and Starro takes over his mind, and it's like one of the dopest fight scenes. Like, so I was aware of Starro. I think he's also a big GL villain too. So I was aware that it was a pretty, like, it wasn't as stupid as they were trying to make it seem, because I knew what the skill set and powers were. Right. But they also did a good job because none of these characters had powers like that. You know, like as you said, King Shark is the only one that had like other level strength. Everybody else, you know, you get hit too hard in the head.
Yeah, be gone.
It's a wrap. Even that whole thing with the little fish, the sucker fish, man.
Yo. And he was communicating through those little fishes on the people's faces and stuff like that. Yo,
y'all talking about King Shark when he got bit by them color things? Was like,
those jellyfish things or whatever.
That's the part dying. I was like, when beautiful things go wrong.
And that was his new friends. That was horrible. King Shark killed it too. Like his whole, I like the use of him. They didn't use him too much. He only had several lines, simple stuff. Liked it.
Yes, that's your hand. I thought King Shark was a better fit than Killer Croc. I thought he was a better fit.
Looked better too.
Looked better too.
Does anything to do with buttholes? You know, like they were just there.
He was so serious. It was good. That whole, like I said, man, I could watch this movie again just for the new squad. Just to see them banter back and forth. Even the scene in the jungle where they're killing and they're trying to one up each other. Yeah. Oh my gosh! Like
no one likes to show off unless the show off actually keeps up to being showed off, and you're like
crazy, right? Crazy.
And I think what this movie did with just those 5 characters, they made characters that you want to see more than any other lineup that we've seen so far in DC.
Is it Winston?
To me.
Is it what's that guy's
name? Wilson? Not Wilson. Milton.
I think Milton is really what made this movie.
The polka dot man?
No.
Nah,
Milton is my Hispanic brother who drove the truck.
Oh yeah.
Milton made this movie. Had it not been for Milton, where would they be?
He was holding the bags and everything.
You know, again, that his character reminded me of Deadpool 2.
Yeah, yes. The guy from Deadpool.
The dude with the mustache. Yes. just a regular dude. Like everybody got skills. He's just a regular cat. But he had he kept the team together. Like it's those simplistic type of jokes that you're just like, you know what? I'm rooting for you, man. I'm rooting for you.
Which is why I said that jungle scene, because the beach, you're talking about the beach. The beach scene was cool and it was a big action, but I was like, okay, you want to let us know that you can kill people, right? That's all right. I get it, right? No character's safe. But when they went through, they killed an entire militia, right? And the line of "That's so American" is also James Gunn's subtle, like, and I still talk about real things because they really did. Nope, like they didn't scout, they didn't triple check, they killed with extreme pressure.
Set people on fire, electrocuted people.
Yep, and that's what they are. They're criminals. They're villains. So we're not looking for
because they just didn't think about it. So it's not even criminal because they went and like intentionally looking to kill good guys. It's just they didn't think about it. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, I can expect. I don't know what to expect out of this movie, except that they're gonna push the envelope, and so therefore, it's a good movie for me. Like, shout out to DC for getting another one. Right, they got another one good movie because, like your brother said, Man of Steel, the first one. Man of Steel. Okay. When I saw Man of Steel, I was geeked in a very long time because Marvel had been establishing their thing, and I was like, oh, because Henry Cavill, I mean, he's great as The Witcher. I think they're gonna make him Captain Britain in Marvel. That would be dope.
Yeah.
And what else has he done? He's done a couple of in the Mission Impossible. So I love the Mission Impossible. Like,
dude, when my man was when he did that, I was like, yep, let's do it.
So I think when I saw him and when I was introduced to him as Superman, I was like, they got potential here. Like, because I mean, you got a Jack guy who acts well enough. He gives you diversity. I mean, you have a right to your opinion. I can't knock that. But then it just went downhill from there, right? Like after Man of Steel, just downhill. And well, someone's trying to be a troll. But again, you have a right to your opinion. So I also can't knock you for that. That's how you feel. Cool.
I can't.
Yeah, we got a hater in the chat.
He also said that ruined Peacemaker.
Hater.
I wonder what
nobody knew who Peacemaker was.
What else can you say that will be the opposite of popular opinion?
But then he goes over the edge and doesn't make peace.
So total opposite of what you think that Peacemaker would be.
So I'm actually excited for his show too. I think that it'll be interesting to see what they do with him, and what kind of tone they bring. Will they try to keep the humorous tone? Will they go with other direction? Like, and will he come across any other DCU characters? Their strength, DCU. If I'm DC, and if y'all are listening and watching, and if you got an algorithm that checks for these things, stick with HBO Max. Right? Go do what Disney's now doing, but just restart there. Make your shows, right? Make them streamable shows. Give us longer or more in-depth stories with your characters, and leave movies to being standalone. Like, just let every once in a while somebody's like, oh, I love to tell the story for Green. Let them do it. But your universe, your DC universe, let it be on HBO Max.
I have a question, and it's not, and I'm not trying to troll. Peacemaker's coming out with having his own show.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be John Cena Peacemaker. It's going to be a different Peacemaker.
No, I think it's John
Cena.
John Cena's dead.
No, he's not.
Oh, you didn't see the after credits.
You
Credits?
No,
okay.
We're done. We're wrapping the show.
Yeah.
Didn't look for after credits.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
I saw Weasel. I saw Weasel came back to life. Weasel came back to life. I was like, all right, my man Weasel, he made it.
I have before credits.
I have nothing to say to you.
You missed it. Oh my god.
No. Seriously.
Seriously, you need to go and watch the after credits.
So the after credits is the two main people from Waller's camp, the guy that was doing the bets and the girl that was sitting right next to him.
Yeah.
They go into a hospital. They see Peacemaker pretty much laid up in bed in the ICU and getting treatment.
Oh, so he got hit with that kryptonite bullet. All right, that's what's up. Oh, so they did pay it off. They did it. That's what's up.
Oh, here you go.
Good job.
Now you be sarcastic at us for letting you know there was an after credit scene that you missed.
I mean, I don't care. Honestly, I don't care that I missed it. Honestly,
you asked a question that's directly related to the future story. Like, what you mean? You should care. It's about.
I just asked the question.
That was related to a crucial part of the movie, of any comic book movie.
That was not a crucial part to the movie. That's an after credit. That's a crucial part to the show.
If you watch a comic book movie, you and I know, no matter what, if you sit your backside in a comic book movie seat, that you stay for every credit. Or in the beauty of it, you actually skip through, because I skipped through. Like, I didn't watch the credits.
But that's what I was trying. Well, look, I was trying to do it. Like, so I watched this and I saw Weasel. I was like, oh, that's what's up. Weasel made it. And then once the credits hit,
that's what's up. We submitted. that was
I kept it moving after that. I was done. I was all right. I was like, all right, that's what's up. The movie did its thing. I'm good with
horrible,
it.
yo.
Kept it moving.
Horrible. You changed.
I mean, all right, that's good.
You
man.
changed. Look, out of the movie theater for 1 year. Now he don't want to do after credits no more.
Nah, I do every Marvel after credit because they pay off those after credits.
I don't know who you are.
I'm still waiting for Sinestro. I'm still waiting for him to come through. And how many years have I been waiting for that? Y'all not going to answer? Okay, good. Okay, good. All right. I can go down the list of all the after credit stuff that DC has done and failed to pay off. So I got to ask those questions. We're not going to get no answer on that.
Hey, Colors, he still hurt. Play that song. He still hurt.
Music Soul Child previous.
Music Soul Child. This is recent.
No, it's one of the songs. It's one of the songs. It's dope. Yo, before I forget, because I had to ask you guys about this.
Yeah.
What I didn't watch the YouTube clip, but I recently saw a heading that said the Far From Home trailer is delayed because of Venom 2. Do you think that's the case? Because I'm interested because a movie that's supposed to be coming out in December. I mean, we're like we're exactly 6 months away.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry, my math. We're 4 months.
5 months. It'd be August, 4 months.
Yeah, we're 4 months away.
September, October, November.
That is well behind Marvel's schedule for giving us something.
Not even Marvel's schedule. Sony's schedule had it out like in February.
Oh yeah, they would have had it. You would have seen the green screen in the back and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that rumor, and this is pure rumor again, I didn't watch the video. If you think it is because of Venom 2's delay, is there some connection between Venom 2 and Far From Home?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
I heard some news. Have you guys ever heard of CinemaCon?
Yeah.
Okay, so CinemaCon is planning to do something probably this Thursday at 9 p.m. EST, and it said something that they're going to show some footage or a trailer to No Way Home, and that's what I'm hearing. I am hearing if they're going to do this footage, and if it's something like Sony said they're going to be there. Saw this on Twitter, and it seems legit, and I'm really excited.
I don't know. I want to be excited. I just feel like we've gotten so much. Yeah, it's tomorrow and the next week.
I'll be so real with you guys. I think it's 2021, and I feel as though that everything that we always see everything, a couple months out or whatever, 6 months out and everything like that. And for this trailer, people have been talking about this trailer for a long, long time. That they're waiting for something. They're waiting for something. They're waiting for something. We got crazy when we saw Tom Holland, the actor, walk out and they walk right by the name of the movie, and everybody went crazy over that.
And that was a
people
teaser.
still buzzing over that. That teaser. I think the movie's going to sell for itself. People are going to go see this movie because of the fact that the way that the last movie left it and where we are now, we want to see the movie. I don't think the trailer, though we need it, I don't think the trailer is selling the movie. I think this wait and this stretch that we're doing right now, it's what's selling the movie. And I think because of the fact that Venom is coming out, Venom 2 with Carnage.
Focus on that.
Yeah, not even focus on that. Well, of course, focus on that, but I think that is going to spin off and is going to connect those two universes. I feel as though that's where they're going.
Yeah, they already released the second trailer for Venom. Showed a lot more carnage and everything for it. I hope by the Shang-Chi drop.
That's next month. That's next month.
So I hope by then. That's September 3rd.
2 weeks away.
Yeah, because they literally have shown all their movies coming out that's the only movie that they haven't shown yet. And it's like at this point after Loki has left us in such a place that everything that they've been speculating about Spider-Man, oh yeah, I can see that happening now. Oh, I can see Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire coming through. Oh, we're gonna get Doc Ock. Okay, I can see that.
Can I be honest? I actually wonder, and maybe because I don't want to get my hopes up, that maybe they're really not in it. Like I'm gonna be like it's Marvel, because after what they did with Mysterio, right? Like and how you know, I thought that I didn't see it, but I did see it. Like how, you know, Mysterio's this, and I'm like, this can't be real. But then how they made it real, like how they broke it down to like, oh, this is actually a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually not in the movie. Do I think? I mean, there's a part, and maybe it's just because I don't want to be disappointed. Like it.
Hey, Color, I can't tell you what's going on in this movie. I have seen nothing from this movie, so I don't know nothing. I can't tell you anything, man.
This movie is shaping up to be like it's just unprecedented in a sense to have movies that came out in the 90s or late 90s, early 2000s, and you're pulling elements from those stories in a rebooted version of the story. It hasn't been done. I mean, if we want to kind of keep to Suicide Squad, technically Suicide Squad kind of did this with adding those other characters in their story and stuff like that. But this is something on a different level. I just feel like the expectation is so high right now for this movie that Sony and Marvel have to really be strategic in how they drop this trailer, because this trailer is going to blow everything around it out of the water. Easy. And Marvel needs people to know that Shang-Chi is coming out, to know that the Eternals are coming out, because those are two properties. They have no idea what they're going to do. They have no idea what numbers they're going to get.
Now, here's those two properties. This is interesting too.
Yeah.
When you talk about, I was just thinking about this today. I'm wondering if the Asian community will support Shang-Chi like the African American / Black community supported Black Panther. And here's the reason why. I think with African culture, it is so diverse. And I think because of who the director was, they were able to, you know, Ryan Coogler, he's had his cachet, right? So he made sure that whatever's authentic. Sometimes I feel when it comes to Asian culture, from what little I know, is it still somehow manages to get whitewashed. Like you can find an Asian director, and if their roots aren't really tied, like it can be whitewashed. You can find a Black person who is acculturalized, but it's a little harder than sometimes I think you might with some other cultures. And so I actually wonder if the Asian community will support Shang-Chi, because I think that's what they're counting on. They're counting on this idea of like, hey, we recognize that there are people in our community that have different cultures and different backgrounds that deserve representation. So let's do that. But you got to be authentic in that.
Yeah. So my thought on that, Crazy Rich Asians, that movie.
Yes.
So that movie did numbers.
Yeah, it did.
in the Asian communities here in America and abroad.
It did. You're right.
I feel as though in a lot of I'm trying to remember. I know Awkwafina. I mean, she's all over the place. So she's one of the actresses that was in that movie as well. But there's other actors that was in Crazy Rich Asians that's also in this movie. And then it's a Marvel movie on top of that. So I feel as though that the amount of sorry, I just heard some whimpering in the back. So I feel as though that the Asian community are going to come out for this movie. Just based off of just a movie like Crazy Rich Asians that's not attached to any property, and then you have Marvel that's going to be attached to this as well. I feel as though that is gonna do big numbers.
Well, I think it all depends on how they're gonna release it. Like, is it just gonna be a theatrical release, or is it gonna be Disney?
Yeah, I believe Shang-Chi is. I believe they're going back to pure theater. So I'm actually trying to figure out who I can get to babysit for a few hours. You know, we'll essentially have like a 1-month-old at that time. So it's like, who can I drop this child off real quick?
this human baby too.
Yeah, I need 2.5 hours.
Oh man, that's gonna be tough. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm in the same boat. Anyway, yo, I am legend. We could just drop the youngest off at you, man. You good?
Oh nah, my youngest is 11. Sorry guys. I don't do that no more. I don't do single digits.
That's all.
I don't do single digits. Y'all crazy.
Tell your son gonna go see an R-rated movie. Sorry, you can't come, and then you go with Shang-Chi.
Or do what I used to do with my daughter when she was young. Take it right to the theater with me.
I would have judged you.
Big time.
My wife saw a movie the other day, and somebody rolled in legit with like an under a year old, and I was like, why? They didn't cry to their benefit, but I was like, why? Because if they did, I'd have been tight. Like,
oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
Like you don't like the movie? You don't like it? What's wrong with the movie? Oh, you can't talk? Yeah, that's why they're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, like I didn't come here for that. But we're gonna find a way. Somebody gonna have to babysit that day. We're gonna find a way.
Absolutely. Listen,
yeah,
fellas. As always, good talk, good banter. Go out and see this movie, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
What's your final score for it?
He said 6.5, 7, I believe.
I did say that. I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. I'm gonna give it a solid 7 out of 10. I did not. I was coming in the same. My expectation was low. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because of James Gunn. But then also on top of James Gunn is DC. So I didn't know what DC was going to pull and add whatever. And they didn't disappoint. They added the parts that they want to add based on whatever contracts they have. And I thought that for some parts of the movie, it kind of trailed the movie off in a different direction. But they brought it back, which was good. It kept my attention still. So 7 out of 10. If DC keeps doing movies like this, I will change my perspective on what DC brings to the table.
All right. My rating on that, 10 out of 10. It was just really good. Had a lot of good characters, a lot of like old characters that you got to see, some funny moments and all that, some comedic stuff in there. And then the ending, the post-credit scene was like leaving me on a cliffhanger. So 10 out of 10.
All right.
I'll say 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, I enjoyed pretty much everything about it. Like I said, except for the middle, kind of slowed down for me. But Gunn was just amazing. I think this is his movie. I think it brought DC back into at least trying to find the way on how to make films, I guess, if you want to say, by giving directors more options. And if they want to go to the R-rated area, I think they will have their own space for it. So I'll give it 8.5. Maybe this won't be the last R-rated film.
Yeah, and I go with Legend. I think it was 8.5 out of 10. It met the standards for its own title. It met the standards for a comic book movie, and it managed to avoid the pitfalls, some of them, of its larger property. So to me, that allows you to get a score like that. Like you didn't fall into the realm of a typical DC movie, so that's good for you. And then you lived up to your name as being a Suicide Squad movie. Great. And then you had good story, good fun characters. Like I would go back and watch it again, and that's not often said for a DC property for me.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, so I want to end it, but I would be remiss if I didn't address this one comment. I hate when superheroes are comedic and light and hopeful. They're superheroes. They're supposed to be hopeful. Comedic, you could comedic and light, you can kind of, but they're hopeful. That's the whole reason why we have heroes, and they're super, so they're above the regular standard of a hero.
You're better than me. Sorry. Every behavior to me is like you just want to get some shine on this. So again, you have a right to your opinion and your thought.
Absolutely. So, fellas, once again, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming through. Colors Everything. Where can people find you?
IG at Colors Everything.
That's it. I Am Legend.
IG, I Am Legend.
All right. Starro the Conqueror. Where can people find you?
IG and YouTube.
There you go. And of course, Sam's Brothers Who Brick, Sam's Brigo. You can find me on any social media. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you again for your banter, fellas. Until next time, we'll be in here and we'll be talking that comic book stuff. So, peace out.